The following may contain language that is not suitable for all audiences. It's time for the Low Fact Podcast. Yeah. All right.
What is
my grievance with the bells?
Yes.
I don't know. Guy dislikes something, right?
Yeah.
So, you were kind of wanting to talk about this at one point.
Okay.
You know, the projection as a defense?
Projection?
Right. You know, so there is a tendency among, Democrats, liberals, leftists, progressive, socialists, commie, whatever you want to call them, or whatever they prefer to be called, to where they tend to make a statement about you, but it's really just a projection when you get to know these people or kind of see their point. Mm-hmm. You know, years ago, people that were, there are people that are still against gay marriage, but whenever someone would say, I don't like the idea of gay marriage, and before they could say,
but
whatever the statement was, like the reasoning, because most religious people are against gay marriage because they believe marriage is an institution that is supposed to create children.
Right.
And, okay, so through marriage, you're supposed to have children. It's supposed to make sure that the people having the kids will take care of the kids. I believe that's what they believe.
Okay.
But whenever someone would say that, before they could get another statement out, someone on the other side, the leftist, whatever you want to call them, mm-hmm. would say, "Why are you such a bigot?" And it would just totally get people off guard, and they wouldn't be able to say anything.
Huh.
A lot of people, or like a gay person calling someone else a homophobe.
Right.
But in my experience, and I think in yours too, these are all projections. In other words, these are ideas, or what is it? These are actual thoughts that the accuser holds.
Oh, like very much bigoted against whoever the person is.
Well, just bigoted, period.
Like, bigoted against Christians or whatever.
No, just bigoted.
Just bigoted.
Period. The person calling another person a bigot is actually a bigot.
Oh.
Just like years ago when I was in college, I had a gay friend. Well, I had several gay friends, but I had a gay friend, and I would sit there and go, dude, I'm offended that you're not, like, making a move on me. You know? And my buddy would always laugh at me and say, you know, Dave, there's a thing called gaydar, and you just kind of know when someone else is gay and someone isn't. And you are about as inert on that scale. And I tried to act offended. I was like, what do you mean? I could be gay. He was like, I know for a fact that you're not. And I'm like, all right, tell me why. Tell me why I can't be gay. And he's all, because you're not homophobic enough. And I was sitting there going, wait. You're gay and you're a homophobe. And he's like, confusing, isn't it?
That is confusing.
Now, I'm not using that example as like the end all be all homosexual men are homophobes. But, you know, it got me to thinking that one time. I was like, interesting.
Well, he's not saying homosexual men are homophobes. He's saying
yes.
People that are homophobic are homosexuals, isn't he?
I don't know.
I think it's something else. Like people that are super, super afraid of gay people. That's always what the gay guys like. They're like, if that guy, they're like somebody who's super, super homophobic is afraid that they're gay.
I think that's a rationalization. I think you have to be a bit homophobic and be gay.
Oh, really?
I mean, I could be wrong. And if I am, well, you know, mea culpa.
But so a bigot is just, I thought a bigot had to be bigoted about something.
Well, sure.
Like the definition of a bigot is just what? Somebody who's...
I have no idea what the definition of a bigot is.
Well, shit, dude. Low fact, but come on. I got a dictionary.
It's too far.
It's too late. So you call that a projection? I guess it is a projection.
When someone's accusing you of being something that they actually are, yes. I would consider that a projection. I might be wrong, but that's the way I use it.
Yeah. Well, there is definitely a lot of projection that's going on in the country right now.
Not even right now, always. I mean, isn't it funny how the people that call other people racist seem to be the most racist people around?
Yes.
And I'm just sitting there going, oh, I guess it takes one to know one, but still.
But why does no one ever say that?
I think people do. They just...
Well, they think it. They don't say it.
I would say it. But I think people do. It's just it doesn't get reported, I suppose.
Because it's not convenient, maybe?
Oh, no. It might be out of rules for radicals, but it's been so long since I read that book. Like 6 months.
It feels like longer than 6 months, though, doesn't it?
Actually, it has been longer. It was last year I read it.
But even so, it's been a long year.
I didn't retain it. Oh, I guess it was 2 years ago then. Time has no meaning in this place that has no seasons.
The only thing I retained from that book is any means necessary to achieve your goals. That's the only thing I remember from it.
Really, the only thing I remember from it is make your adversary live up to the letter of their laws or their beliefs.
How do you do? What does that mean?
Well, if someone says that they're compassionate,
Saul Alinsky, right? That's
yes,
who wrote it.
Yes. Yeah. The best, I guess the best way for me to describe it is, let's say, so let's say that priests are supposed to be celibate.
Okay.
Or people that are married. You know, the religious folks, religious leaders talk about the sanctity of marriage and you can't cheat on other people and stuff like that. They all do.
I've always thought that was funny. Like, not funny, haha, funny, peculiar.
Yeah, you know, the whole, I hate this statement too because it's been thrown around so much, the rules for thee, but not for me. So basically, you know, there's a whole bunch of rules. It's basically hypocrisy.
Yeah.
But, you know, kind of point that out or just stay on that subject.
Right.
You know, kind of like the old legal adage, if you've got the law on your side, pound the law. If you've got the facts on your side, pound the facts. If you have neither the law or the facts on your side, you pound the table.
There we go. He's pounding the table. But so, I've always thought it was funny though, like, if somebody's like sleeping around within marriage. No. What about sleeping around before marriage? That's also a sin, right?
If you adhere to that belief.
Right.
Yes.
But then you fix it by getting married.
Which is a weird thing.
I remember seeing a documentary about Iran.
I'm never going to say that word right because I've had too many people try to correct me on it.
Isn't it Iran?
It's Iran. But a lot of people say Iran.
How do you say it?
I say Iran.
Iran?
Iran.
Just to really piss people off.
And it also reminds me of a bit some comedian had way back in the late 80s talking about, you know, there's these R's between the Iraqis and the Iranians. What are they fighting about? It's spelled with a Q. It's spelled with an N. So I always think of that when I think of either of those two countries.
Iran.
But so I saw this documentary years ago, and you know, the Islamics, just like most religions, are really against, you know, sleeping around,
right,
or using prostitutes.
Mm-hmm.
But in Iran, they get around that by marrying the prostitute, have sex with her, and then they get a divorce.
That's some fucking like.
And I'm just sitting there going, you know, I don't think God meant, you know, you do this stuff, but I don't think God meant for it to be like that.
No, that's just a big old loophole.
Right.
That is hypocrisy, I think.
Well, there's the other loophole that the Christian and Catholic girls used to do, or maybe they still do.
What's that?
You know, they have to be virgins, so vaginal sex is no. But the loophole is the back door's okay.
I never heard of that before.
Really?
I mean, I heard of it as like an urban myth, but not for real.
Really?
Yeah.
You're supposed to be Casanova, this Don Juan over here that's had loads of women after him and all that stuff, and you've never run across some.
If a girl was like, do that, I'd be like,
Okay.
Yeah, whatever floats your boat, I suppose. I mean, each to their own.
I just don't see how a girl would be into it, but there some are.
That's just wrong, dude. That makes me uncomfortable even thinking about that.
Why? Because you're afraid the girls would want to do you that way first?
I don't know, man.
But yeah, the whole projection thing, that's just kind of... I always found it kind of weird. Well, it's not weird.
That they can't see that it's a projection?
Well, yeah, they can't see it as a projection, but really it's just an argumentative device to keep your opponent from actually touching on the issue.
So if you want to use the Saul Alinsky playbook, then you just hit him straight back.
Well, I don't know.
At that point,
I've got to read. I've got to read that book again.
Now.
I got to read that book again. It's so funny because it's a short ass book.
It took me ages to read it.
I read it in like an hour.
I don't think I even finished it.
It's so short. That was a phrase a guy didn't want to hear from a girl.
It's really short. But yeah, I mean, no. You would just use that same strategy. If someone did that, you would just hit them straight back. And I think you have to.
I think that is emotionally pleasing.
Because once you start apologizing, right? I mean,
well, you don't have to apologize. I just think I think the tit for tat in that situation is ineffective.
So what do you do then?
I would just say you cast it aside. I was like, well, that's a different subject. Let's talk about this subject first before we get onto that.
Okay. And then they'd be like, no. Let's talk about this.
Probably. Because
I suck it in that kind of circumstance anyway.
Well, I think most people do because you know, you want to get your opponent to be irrational and totally derail that line of conversation to where it just becomes name calling. And at that point, both sides can walk away going, ugh, what a fucktard. So everybody's happy.
Unless you're trying to actually win the argument.
Well, no, you've both won in your own mind.
When it turns into name calling?
Sure.
What does that say about people, though?
Oh, people are stupid.
Stupid, or I think it's more than stupidity.
Okay, whatever the word is that goes beyond stupid. Galactically stupid? Really stupid? Stupid.
I like galactically. That's a good word. I think I'm going to use that from now on.
But, you know, there's
humongously stupid.
There are people that people like to sit there and say individuals are smart, but people are stupid.
Mm-hmm.
Which, okay, you can say that, but let's be for real. Everybody's dumb. And everybody's dumb with like moments of brief flashes of brilliance, I suppose, lucidity. But I think in general, the default should be that the life philosophy I think that would make people better off is to walk through life thinking that they are galactically stupid, and so are all the other people that they run into in life. Now, you might happen to run into people, which happens now, right? That's the whole echo chamber philosophy, that you surround yourself with like-minded folks.
But that would never happen because everybody thinks they're super smart.
I
mean, most people. They think they're right and they think they're smart.
Yeah.
Those two things. Or smart and right, whatever, I mean, you know.
Yeah, tomato on that one, but yeah, that's correct. I think you're right. Everybody does think that they're right and smart. And I think that most of the time you are incorrect.
I mean, it'd be nice if everyone thought they were stupid and everybody else was stupid, then probably there'd be less problems.
Well, that's the argument that humility is a requirement in life. If you are humble, then, you know.
Well, I think humility is. I don't think humility is. There may have been a time when humility was valued.
Oh, it still is, just in others. Except when you run across someone who seems super whatever, just got everything going on, and they're also super humble on top of that. That annoys me. That reminds me.
Even if they're truly humble.
Well, especially. That just gets my goat.
Really?
There's an old Asian adage.
Or are you just pretending?
What?
Does it really get your goat?
It kind of does.
What, because that person's just too perfect?
Well, that's just one less thing that I can dislike that person about. And that makes me dislike that person even more. You know,
it's just wrong, isn't it?
It's easy to dislike someone who's super smart and is a total cunt about it.
Right.
You're just like, what an asshole, right? But what if they're super smart and super humble? You're just like, ah!
What was that thing you were saying about women? You can either be
Oh no, it was from that. It was from that Laura Linney show, The C Word.
Yeah, what was it?
You can either be fat and jolly, or a skinny bitch. You can't be both.
For some reason, that made me think of that. Yeah, so I feel like in the age of social media, humility is not. It's not. If you have humility, you're never going to get a social media following.
Well, it doesn't seem to be rewarded, is what you're talking about.
Yeah, not at all. Now, I'm not saying don't do it. I just think that it's not rewarded.
But isn't that a weird way to go about it? I mean, you're not being humble to be rewarded. It's not like people sit there and say, I want to be super brave so I can receive a Medal of Honor.
Yeah. But how do you... I wonder how you end up having humility.
I was about to say before you finish that statement, I was about to cut you off before you cut me off, but I was going to say I already know that I don't know the answer. And then you fired off your statement before I could fire off mine, thus stealing my thunder. It went from a loud thunderclap to a little rumble.